How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sunday 3 Pacific 6 Eastern. We got a lot to get into here today. It was a very busy weekend, and we got a very busy week coming up. Tomorrow, actually, we should start with tonight. Tonight is Monday Night Raw, and tonight's Raw is going to be all about promoting tomorrow's NXT, because tomorrow it is the Tuesday Night War. Or as I like to call the Tuesday Night Wars, it's AEW versus NXT. And I have a poll up on my Twitter right now where you can tell me who you think is winning tomorrow night. So that's going to be very interesting. We'll talk about that today. We get a full lineup for the Raw show tonight. We get a full lineup for the NXT and AEW shows tomorrow. And if you're a subscriber to WrestlingObserver.com, here is the schedule. Last night, did a show with Dave. Tonight, doing a show with Dave, covering Raw. Tuesday, we're doing a show with Dave, covering AEW and NXT. We're switching Wednesday to Tuesday this week. And the Tuesday Bryan and Vinny show is being moved to Wednesday, where we will be covering the 1993 Survivor Series. So if you've been following along, that is the plan for the next couple of days. We've also got news on, I can't wait to talk about this one, Ronda Rousey and an idea that she had for a match with Liv Morgan in Extreme Rules. We've got notes on the documentary that AEW will be doing. Warner Brothers Discovery moving ahead with a behind-the-scenes documentary focusing on AEW. Day one appears to be history. Suppose that could change. Pentagon Jr. unmasked. Viano 4. And, of course, a Rampage and SmackDown as well. We're going to get into it all after the break. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Hey there everyone, it's Denise Salcedo and I'm back with some commercial break trivia. This time we are going to be doing some AEW Full Gear trivia. Let's get right to it. Question number 1. In what city did the first ever Full Gear take place at? A. Jacksonville, Florida. B. Baltimore, Maryland. C. Newark, New Jersey. D. Minneapolis, Minnesota. The first ever Full Gear was held in 2019 in Baltimore, Maryland. Question number 2. At Full Gear 2019, who was the corner man for Cody in his match for the AEW World Championship against Chris Jericho? A. Dustin Rhodes. B. Brandy Rhodes. C. MJF. D. None of the above. The correct answer is MJF. Question number 3. At Full Gear 2019, what 2 women were in the AEW Women's World Championship match? A. Riho versus Emi Sakura. B. Riho versus Bea Priestley. C. Riho versus Nyla Rose. D. None of the above. The correct answer is Riho versus Emi Sakura. Riho defeated her to retain her AEW Women's World Championship. Question number 4. Who did Orange Cassidy wrestle at Full Gear 2020? A. Darby Allin. B. Sammy Guevara. C. Wardlow. D. John Silver. The correct answer is John Silver. Question number 5. True or false? Jon Moxley has main evented every Full Gear from 2019 through 2021. A. True. B. False. The answer is false. He did main event in 2019 in an unsanctioned lights out match against Kenny Omega and again in 2020 in an I Quit match against Eddie Kingston for the AEW World Championship. However, he did not main event in 2021. That's a wrap for this trivia video. I will be back with a part 2 of AEW Full Gear trivia, but now back to the show.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive is going to join us here in a while. His new box literally just arrived. He is plugging it in as we speak. And so hopefully that's going to solve a lot of problems that we have had with various boxes over the last several days. But we got news to talk about while he's fiddling with his box, so let's get going here. First off, best wishes to Triple H. He will not be at Raw tonight. PW Insider reported this afternoon, and we can confirm that Levesque is not at Raw in person due to testing positive for COVID-19. Though he isn't at the show, Levesque has been in contact with WWE's writers and producers. Levesque is said to be feeling well and in good spirits, but will be away from his in-person WWE duties until he has cleared the company's current protocol, PW Insider wrote. We are told he's been in contact with the company's producers and writers, feels good about the creative and the team heading into tonight's Raw, which would be the first without him since he took over his new role. There were many Raws where Vince was not there, but this will be the first one where Triple H is not there. And of course, that means he also will not be at NXT on Tuesday night, which is a big night because he's out looking for revenge, as we'll get to. Raw tonight, we have the appearance of Brock Lesnar. We have got Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle for the U.S. title. Dexter Lumis faces The Miz. If Dexter Lumis wins, he will get a WWE contract. Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson face the Alpha Academy. And it will be the return of Elias. We have waited a long time for the return of Elias. You know, some men can grow a beard faster than others. And we will see how his beard looks when he comes back. Interesting thing here is, in order to be Ezekiel, and let's not pretend, everybody, it's the same guy. In order to play Ezekiel, he had to cut his hair and his beard, which means that to be Elias again, he has to grow out his beard and his hair, or the option is he can wear a wig. And he did do a spot in a wig with a fake beard, before this thing wrapped up. And he managed to do the whole thing without his wig falling off. So, and it'll be interesting to see how much of his hair and beard have grown back for the return of Elias. And listen, everybody, Elias and Ezekiel are the same guy. This is not a Kevin Owens gimmick. It's a fact, and we need to face facts in this life. And, I had an idea years ago. Someday on a slow news day, I'll tell you my idea for The Clone, which is similar to the Elias storyline, but different and, dare I say, better. But anyway, that is the Raw lineup for tonight. That leads us to tomorrow, where we have Dynamite and NXT head-to-head. Due to the MLB playoffs, Dynamite in Cincinnati is going to be on Tuesday, and of course, NXT is always on Tuesday. So the Dynamite show has Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page for the AEW title. Toni Storm defends the AEW women's title against Hikaru Shida. We have Death Triangle versus Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends for the trios titles. So Pac for a while there was a double champion. He had the All-Atlantic title and the Trios titles. He lost the All-Atlantic title to Orange Cassidy on Friday. The Best Friends and Orange Cassidy could win the Trios title, so then Orange would be a double champion. We've got Jericho versus Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor title. MJF will be doing a promo, and Renee Paquette will be interviewing Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. We have also got the NXT show head-to-head. The Schism, Joe Gacy, Rip Fowler, and Jagger Reed will be facing Cameron Grimes and two tag team partners. Alba Fire faces Sonya Deville. Stax will be facing an opponent of Tony D'Angelo's choosing. And then we have Roxanne and Cora both facing opponents of each other's choosing. So, by my math here, Stax against someone from the main roster. Cora Jade is likely facing Rhea Ripley, but we don't know for sure till tonight. And Cora is facing Raquel. So we have at least three main roster talents that are going to be on the show tomorrow. And it would not surprise me in the least if more got added, because the idea is there's going to be NXT talent on Raw. They're going to be building up Raw and SmackDown talent for NXT. You know, they've said many times, we just do what we do. We don't worry about, watch the show tonight and you tell me if they are very strongly attempting to win this war, if it's just another week of NXT television. They're both loading up the shows, AEW and NXT. Let's not pretend here. So if we go to my Twitter, at Bryan Alvarez, I have a poll up. I'm a big fan of polls. And my question to you, my loyal followers, not super followers, my loyal followers, who is winning the Tuesday Night War? And I'm doing the poll today, prior to Raw, and this poll ends before Raw begins. And then after Raw is over, tomorrow, I'm going to do the poll again, and we're going to see if it's the same or if it's changed after Raw tonight. As of right now, AEW is leading this poll 74% to 26%. 74% of you believe that AEW is going to beat NXT tomorrow night. And quite frankly, I mean, it was a simplistic poll because there's two things, obviously. There's the total viewership. There is the demo, okay? The viewership of NXT and AEW, I mean, it's still pretty far apart. Like, NXT at 700,000 is doing great. And AEW's of late averaging about 1 million if you average the last 7 weeks or so. So it's a difference of 300,000, 30% or something like that. But the demo is far apart. The NXT demo is not 30% of the AEW demo. It's less than half. So it's very possible that NXT could win in viewership and AEW could win in the demo. And I will say that, people that think it's just going to be a slaughter by AEW, it could be. But, we're putting a lot of main roster talent on NXT. There's going to be more. AEW is on an unfamiliar night. They don't run Tuesdays. They're being moved. They're being moved from their normal night to Tuesday. We don't know how many Orange Cassidys there are that don't even know it's being moved. So, there are probably going to be a percentage of the audience, maybe not sizable, that's going to forget. So we'll see what happens head-to-head tomorrow. But I'm also going to be interested to see what my poll looks like tomorrow after Raw is over. Because when Raw is over, perhaps some people will change their mind about who is going to be victorious tomorrow. So that is the lineup for all of the shows. And we'll talk about them tomorrow here on this show. When we come back, because I don't got enough time here, I'm going to talk briefly about Ronda Rousey and the pitch that she had to WWE about the SmackDown Women's title match with Liv Morgan, which was an Extreme Rules match. And she had some ideas, and her ideas were shot down. And but then other things occurred, which is kind of funny when you think about it. So we're going to talk about that after the break. We'll talk about the AEW documentary, which is going to be in the works here soon. Day one, which has apparently been canceled. I suppose things could change. Pentagon Jr. unmasking Viano, and how I play a role in all of that, and more. Back in a moment. Observer Live.
Hey there, everyone. It's time for part 2 of the AEW Full Gear Trivia. Let's play question number 1. What match opened up Full Gear 2021? A. Bryan Danielson versus Miro. B. Cody Rhodes versus Pac. C. MJF versus Darby Allin. D. None of the above. The correct answer is MJF versus Darby Allin, in which MJF got the win. Question number 2. How many title changes did we see at Full Gear 2021? The correct answer is 1. The only title that changed hands that night was the AEW World Championship, in which we saw Adam Page defeat Kenny Omega. Question number 3. Who did Miro replace in the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament that saw him face Bryan Danielson in the finals? A. Eddie Kingston. B. Dustin Rhodes. C. Lance Archer. D. None of the above. The correct answer is none of the above. He replaced John Moxley in the tournament. Question number 4. True or false? Full Gear 2021 was the first time we saw Kenny Omega versus Adam Page wrestle each other on a Full Gear pay-per-view. A. True. B. False. The answer is false. Page wrestled Kenny at Full Gear 2020 in the finals of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament to earn a future AEW World Championship match, in which Adam lost. Then fast forward to their main event match at Full Gear 2021 when Page won the AEW World Championship. Question number 5. True or false? Full Gear 2021 was the last AEW pay-per-view appearance for Cody Rhodes before he returned to WWE. A. True. B. False. The correct answer is true. He teamed with Pac and they defeated Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. Well, that's a wrap for AEW Full Gear Trivia. I will be back with some more games, but in the meantime, let's get back to the show.
You know what? We got this thing set for the week. You start off a little bit slow on Monday. We got this thing going. Get everybody ready for the rest of the week. It's on from here.
Actually, it's not. What the heck is that noise? Ah, well,
I don't know.
Who cares? Fix it after the break. Get all the computers and everything away from that thing.
You just made it sag. Look at you. You have that effect on things.
Well, anyway, I'm going to try to tolerate this segment with that noise in the background. But anyway, Ronda Rousey, this is my favorite story in a while. Then we'll get to more important news. In her gaming stream on her YouTube channel, Rousey says that she... you know what, Mike? Switch to the other input while I tell this story about Ronda. In a gaming stream on her YouTube channel, Rousey says that she pitched for Liv Morgan to powerbomb her into thumbtacks and for Morgan to pass out in her armbar face down into the tacks, but that unspecified WWE officials nixed the idea. She said, I pitched the finish to be on thumbtacks. Liv would put down thumbtacks, she'd powerbomb me onto the thumbtacks, and as a repeat of our finish from before, I'd go for the armbar on the thumbtacks, but they'd start counting the pin. And I'd have to push up onto my one shoulder, like into the thumbtacks to keep the armbar on, and Liv would be biting her hand, trying not to tap, and then pass out face down into the thumbtacks with her hand there to protect her face. But they said, you ready for this? You ready for this, everybody? They said, we can't do thumbtacks anymore. Like, legally, we can't purposely injure people and cut their skin and stuff. Okay. All right. Fine. We can't do thumbtacks anymore. Like, legally, we can't purposely injure people and cut their skin and stuff. All right. So then she goes, well, what about little maple leaf pins? They said no. I was like, what about screws? They're on their side on the ground. They said no. So then, it has been made clear we can't purposely injure people, okay? Now, first off, let's remember back to Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton, where Lesnar was going to destroy Randy Orton. And so the easy thing to do would be to just, like, you know, gig. But instead, we cannot, as they say here, we can't purposely cut their skin and stuff. We can't injure people. So what'd they do? Well, they had Lesnar just drive sharp, bony forearms into him with all of his might. And he cut him open all right and concussed him, and it was horrible. Randy would have been a lot easier doing that. But we got to keep people safe, right? So then she starts talking about the bat. Do you guys remember the bat? She says it's a bat, you know. You kind of have to be careful how you hit people with it. And I felt bad because Liv was in a position where I had to be whacking her with a bat. And I'm like, if I hit her in the back, I could really mess up her spine. If I hit her in the rib, I think I'll break a rib. So I'll just keep hitting her in the ass. So I kept whacking the ass out of her butt. So I kind of felt bad. Her butt must look bad. So she was told, no, you guys can't use thumbtacks because we can't purposely injure people and cut their skin and stuff. But we're going to give you a shoot bat, a real bat. And they're freaking pounding on each other with a bat. What's up, Mike? Well, yeah, put in that other channel because now I can't hear you. You know what I'd like to do, everybody? I'd like to take a bat, and I'd like to take that bat and pound that tie line box repeatedly with it, and then I'd like to put down some thumbtacks, and I'd like to powerbomb that tie line into some thumbtacks. That's what I'd like to do. Did you know we can't purposely injure people and cut their skin and stuff? Should we use a wiffle bat and paint it black? Nah. How about a rubber bat? No. Let's give them shoot bats and have them hit each other in the ass as hard as they can. Warner Brothers moving ahead with a behind-the-scenes documentary series focused on AEW. In May, AEW sent out a survey announcing the series was in the works and asking the fans to help name it. AEW also revealed the show will, quote, track our core cast on the road at AEW events as they try to hold on to the titles they have or win back the ones they've lost, with everything culminating at the biggest pay-per-view of the year. According to a report from Fightful Select, AEW staff and talent were informed this past week that filming for the project will begin on November 2, when Dynamite emanates from the Chesapeake Arena in Baltimore. It will continue for 6 weeks until Winter is Coming on December 14th in Garland, Texas. Well, that's not the biggest pay-per-view of the year. It's not even a pay-per-view. Tony Khan will serve as executive producer. Project will be a collaboration between Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Shad Media. Expected to air sometime in 2023. Kathleen Finch of Warner Brothers said earlier this month they were looking to create AW content, quote, that is not in a wrestling ring. So this is the reality show. It is on. And we'll see what they end up doing, but I still can't hear Mike. Now everything's ruined.
Nothing works?
Nothing works, dude. What in God's name's going on? You ever heard of Skype? You ever heard of the telephone? Yeah, we hear a very faint mic. Well, after the break, during the break, Mike, we're going to get this fixed again, right? Why don't you go get the other cable while I tell everybody more of this news here today? How does that sound? It's got to be a cable issue, I think. You know, we always manage to do this live. There's 24 hours in a day, yet somehow, we always troubleshoot on the air. Why? Well, I don't know. I don't know why. So anyway, more news. WWE's Day 1 Premium Live event has reportedly been canceled. According to a report from WrestleNomics, the event is not expected to be rebranded, and WWE currently does not have a PLE listed for between Survivor Series on November 26th and the Royal Rumble on January 28th. The event was scheduled to take place January 1st from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia for the second straight year. And then there's a report from some fella named Bryan Alvarez. So here's what I've heard about this, everybody. So it appears that this show is not happening. But, we are a ways away, so maybe they will reschedule it for a different day. There had been a lot of talk that something was going to change. I do not believe that there is not going to be a PLE or a pay-per-view between November 26th and January 28th. Now, that does not mean that I believe that they're going to do day one. But I do think there's going to be an NXT, I still call them pay-per-views, whatever. I think there's going to be a NXT Peacock show probably right around the new year. I think they usually call it New Year's Evil. So I do think that that's going to occur. But I am of the understanding that the plan for next year is to make a lot of changes with this pay-per-view schedule here, in the sense that I believe there are going to be less gimmicky shows. So I don't know if they're going to get rid of Hell in a Cell or things like that. But, one of the things we've been talking about forever is, Hell in a Cell is traditionally on this month, and we just, whatever feud's going on, that's the Hell in a Cell. And, it was never like that early on. It was, if you necessitated a Hell in a Cell match, you would book it. But then they got into these themed pay-per-views, and, things were different before Peacock. Things were different when they had to sell network subscriptions. Oh, people haven't really been buying pay-per-views of late. Well, let's do a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Oh, they haven't really been, let's do a TLC, whatever. Now, as we've mentioned before, it doesn't matter, because they've already made their money in advance. There's zero money, $0 to be made, with the exception of, and people always go, they still got to sell tickets. Brother, dude, they sell all their tickets long before we know what the show's going to be, who's on the show, what the main event of the show is going to be. They could literally announce a pay-per-view is coming up in February, sell most of the tickets in advance, and it doesn't matter if it's Hell in a Cell, TLC, Survivor Series, Great Balls of Fire, whatever. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. So when nothing matters, book, create matchups, and try to run good pay-per-views. And man, if you got a feud that just feels like a blood feud, hey, you know what? We're going to put in a cell on this pay-per-view. I think that's the easiest way to do it. It doesn't lock them into things they don't necessarily want to do. I mean, did we really need an Extreme Rules show? Did we really need a bunch of matches under Extreme Rules? What benefit was that to WWE? None. You're not... If you book Extreme Rules and an extra 50,000 people sign up for Peacock, WWE gets nothing. Zero. Not a penny. So it doesn't matter. What happens at Extreme Rules? Well, people can get hurt. You do all these gimmick matches and everything like that, and, Ronda wants to powerbomb somebody on a thumbtacks, but she's told no, so she starts beating her with a bat. I mean, Liv would probably be better without being beaten by a bat, be my guess. So anyway, I think that they'll do what they do. They're going to do far more international shows next year, I believe is the plan. And they've been doing international shows and stadium shows, and they're doing great. So that, I believe, is the way that things are going to change going into 2023. And when it's official, we'll tell you about it. Back in a moment with Mike, Observer Live.
Crown Jewel Trivia Part 1. Question number 1. What year did the first ever WWE Crown Jewel event take place? A, 2017, B, 2018, C, 2019, D, 2020. The correct answer is 2018. It was their second pay-per-view show, followed by the Greatest Royal Rumble earlier that year. Question number 2. Who did not compete in the WWE World Cup at the 2018 Crown Jewel event? A, Sheamus, B, Rusev, C, Shinsuke Nakamura, D, all of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. None of these men competed in the WWE World Cup, but were on the show. Question number 3. Who won the WWE World Cup at Crown Jewel 2018? A. The Miz. B. Randy Orton. C. Dolph Ziggler. D. None of the above. The correct answer is none of the above. It was Shane McMahon. He replaced The Miz and then pinned Dolph Ziggler in the finals. Question number 4. Who did AJ Styles defeat to retain the WWE Championship at Crown Jewel 2018? A. Drew McIntyre. B. Braun Strowman. C. Samoa Joe. D. None of the above. The correct answer is Samoa Joe. Question number 5. There was a 10-man tag team match at Crown Jewel 2019. Team Hogan versus Team Flair. Whose team was Roman Reigns on? A. Team Hogan or B. Team Flair? The answer is Team Hogan. With them was Rusev, Ricochet, Shorty G, and Ali. They got the win over Team Flair. Thanks for playing. I will be back with some more Crown Jewel trivia, but in the meantime, back to Wrestling Observer Live.
All right, back here on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Yeah, he's here.
I am.
And we can hear him.
This time, we mean it, okay? Have you gotten to the story yet? Because I've been doing all this tech stuff about how you had something to do with,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, you want to hear about it?
being,
Yeah, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
Now Tony's texting me on top of everything else. Well, as you're all well aware, Pentagon Jr. defeated Viano 4 at Triple Mania 30 on Saturday, took his mask. He was defeated after Pentagon snapped his arm for the 3rd time in what ended up being an emotional, bloody brawl. He unmasked in front of an emotional crowd, identifying himself as Tomas Diaz Mendoza. Yes, he's a Mendoza. He's of the Mendoza family. Can you believe it? 57, been wrestling for 42 years. Even though Dave argued this with me last night, he was officially the winner of the Ruleta de la Muerte tournament.
I'm with you, boss.
Yes. Now, here's the deal, everybody. I can't take full credit. But I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but about 15, 20 years ago, I, in fact, wrestled Los Villanos, Villano 4 and Villano 5, with the UWA Tag Team Championships on the line. And I believe that I gave him enough of a beating 20 years ago that it trickled down to modern day and caused him to lose to Pentagon. So I may get myself a Villano mask and put it on my own wall.
Hey, you know what? It's like, Muhammad Ali. They always talk about that Inoki fight and all the damage that Inoki did to Ali's legs. It didn't, come across right away, but it came across a little bit later on. And that's the beating. Now, one thing, though, and I know you've always talked about this because this is a factual statement. When you have a mask on and you're a luchador, I'm not saying you can last forever, but boy, there's a mystique that even though your body may age, if you keep it up enough, you can continue on for years into your 60s. My God, when he took that mask off, and I know he's a 60-something-year-old man who's taken a lot of blades in his life and has lived a long, hard life, but my God, as soon as that mask came off, it truly was over.
I can tell you more. So when I saw the picture of the unmasked Villano 5, I said to myself, I know that man. I know that man. That's Tomas Diaz Mendoza. And I knew him because, in fact, I had wrestled him, and I saw him in the locker room without his mask on all those many years ago. And my favorite memory is not the match itself, because we did not win the UWA World Tag Team titles that night.
Who was your partner, by the way?
I think it might have been Matt Farmer. But anyway, the point of this is that I actually had watched enough lucha that I did lucha spots with the Villanos. We didn't just do like, the American style or whatever. I actually got to do some luchas. That was fun.
You didn't have a choice. You had to do that style.
No, I didn't have to. He asked, and he was like, "Can you do this?" I went, "Yeah," and we did it. But anyway, my true favorite memory is we're in the locker room and just chit-chatting about life. We're all Mexicans. And we were talking about his real job. Might not have been him, might have been his brother. One of them's a dentist. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll never forget, he looks at me and he goes, "I'm a dentist. You know what's great is nobody knows I'm a wrestler." And man, I looked at this guy's forehead, and dude, it was a road map. I mean, even back then, it was like, there were up, down, sideways, in and out.
Could you stick a silver dollar in there like Abby?
And I just thought, come on, brother. They all know you're a wrestler. Give me a break. They might not know who you are, but they either know you're a wrestler or they think you're a horrible dentist. And you somehow drilled your own head multiple times while working on someone else's teeth.
Can you imagine being put under by that guy, not knowing who he was? Like, don't worry, everything will be just fine. And you look at those divots in the forehead. My God.
So, yeah, that's the story of my, my role in the unmasking of old Villano 4.
Such an influencer. You're like the new breed, like Chris Champion and Sean Royal, going into the future to see Dusty Rhodes as the president of the United States and going there to attack the Boogie Woogie Man, Cybertron. That's what you've provided for us, Bryan Alvarez.
This person goes, "I've heard this exact story before." Well, you want me to change the story next time?
A lot of people.
You want me to talk about how I won the UWA tag team titles?
A lot of people on national radio have not heard this story at all, if, maybe in a long time.
Yeah, the reason I can't remember my partner is because I didn't have one. It was 1-on-2, me and the Villanos. In fact, it was all three Villanos. It was a 1-on-3 match. I beat all of them with Lucha Libre.
What happened to the first two?
They weren't there. But maybe the next time I tell them, they will be there. All five Villanos.
You beat the entire dynasty of Villanos and bedded all of their wives afterwards. You are the lineage, Bryan Alvarez. How many kids of yours are running around Ciudad Juarez right now or Monterrey?
Villano 2 was a dentist. I think there was more than one dentist. Because I definitely talked to the guy that was a dentist.
It's a family business.
Yeah. Villano 3.
I mean, seriously, who else are you going to let into your practice if you don't let people into your life and you're always wearing a mask and you're trying to kayfabe people on being a dentist? You bring your own kids into the practice. They grow up as dentists and can have scarred heads and look at people and go, just a dentist.
See, and this guy here, like, I deal with this every day. This guy goes, "How about Bryan saying the YWF title was worth the same as the FTW title? Taz would kick Bryan's ass if you heard that." Hey, I never said that. I said Hook turned down $50,000 for the FTW title, which I thought was a poor business decision. And I believe Taz would as well, by the way. But I said, you know what I'd do if somebody offered me $50,000 for the Intercontinental title? You know what I'd do? I'd give them both belts for $50,000.
It's because you're a dirty whore. Maybe Taz
No, I'm
looks
not.
at Hook.
It's because I've got children.
No. Hook,
what am I going to do with those two belts?
Well, that's the whole thing. Taz doesn't have to worry about that, neither does Hook. Because Hook, who knows? Hook's at strip clubs all the time. We don't know if he's got children.
Brother,
we know he likes
most
to
of the
spend
people I
his
know
money.
that are at strip clubs all the time, they ain't got no money.
Hey, look, that guy's got money coming in, and there's more money to be made later. So he's banking on himself right now. You take the small money early, and you bet on yourself because scared money, it's not going to make any money, Bryan. That kid is young. He's got his whole future ahead of him. And don't you ever try to give fatherly advice to Taz or monetary advice. You just stick to your own.
Listen, I can give advice to anybody. They don't have to take it. Bray Wyatt returned on SmackDown, and we got to wait about 20 minutes, but it was interesting because when they teased that he was going to be there on September 23rd, this show did a monster number. But if you look at the overnights, which I guess, like I said, we'll get the final number in 10 minutes, they advertised that he would return on the show, and they were just like overnight of 2.05 million or something like that. Nothing special. So we'll see what happens. But he came back, and he did a promo. And no, I don't want to hear what the storyline is, everybody, because we don't know. If you've made up a storyline in your head, that's cool. But we don't know what the storyline is yet. He came back, he cut a emotional promo where he said this was the real me, Bray, who is not the real him.
No.
The real him is Wyndham.
It's like Joe Spivak.
He said, this is the real me, the real Bray. And then he talked about all sorts of real things in his life. And he thanked the fans and talked about how he didn't know if he was ever going to wrestle again. And he'd had personal tragedies and the fans kept him alive and everything. And then the lights go out and a very spooky video appeared on the screen. And then it just, it all went black. So he's either doing, well, here's the thing, everybody. I don't know what they're going to do with Bray Wyatt. I can tell you what I think they're going to do. And I think that Bray is going to, I don't know if he's going to, I shouldn't say too much because I don't know, but I believe that Bray is going to have a stable of human puppets. There will be a Huskus. There will be an Abby. There will be a Buzzard. And I hope they've got some elaborate masks, all of these. Like a lucha stable. But I feel like that's what's going to happen. And, you know, I don't know what condition Bray is in or whatever. But, you know, he doesn't need to wrestle all the time. He could have that fat pig Huskus do a lot of matches. And the Buzzard. And all of these other miscreants.
Oh, man. People want to fantasy book things. Fantasy book a Survivor Series where all of these people face off against the Psycho Clowns.
Well, not the Psycho Clowns, but you could have the Buzzard and the Fat Pig and the Witch and the Rabbit, Ramblin' Rabbit. That's 4 right there.
Against Maximum Male Models and somebody else.
Maximum Male Models and
smash them.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And yes, I like saying Fat Pig Huskus, because that's what he is.
Fat Pig Huskus.
Huskus is a fat pig. He's not a skinny pig.
And what was he based on?
I don't know.
Husky Harris. Remember? He was too big, getting too out of control with the weight, old Bray Wyatt was, when he was old. What did he call himself? He was a Ferrari engine and a, Ford F-250 or some nonsense like that. Husky Harris, yes. Huskus the pig came from that.
Wow, I didn't know that. I mean, I probably did, but I didn't care. So anyway, that's what he's going to be doing, I think, when he comes back, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I can't wait. I can't wait. I mean, we saw those characters when he made his return. I saw that fat pig. I saw that one creep in the Buzzard. I saw them all.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Bunch of freaks.
I'm not fat-shaming the pig. It's a factual statement.
It's a pig.
Huskus,
They're made of fat.
Huskus have you ever gone to the fair? I did. And you know what I didn't see? A thin pig. Not one.
No.
Every pig was fat. That's a pig.
Yeah.
That's like going, don't neck shame a giraffe.
Yeah, well, you know what? Isn't it the reverse? If a pig isn't fat, aren't you shaming it by being too thin? But you say you're not enough of a pig? Who the hell are you to dictate that?
Yeah,
to
that
the
pig ain't fat. That pig's got a health issue. So
yeah. What do you say about boars? You got a problem with them too?
What else happened on SmackDown? You know, what's funny is I didn't see a portion of SmackDown because my YouTube TV, which has almost never failed me. Mm-hmm. I guess there must have been a game on or something like that because it recorded, and it was really bizarre. It recorded the FS1 version of the show, okay? And the recording was only 90 minutes. So normally when your DVR only records 90 minutes of a show because there was like a preemption, what you expect is, well, we won't see the first half hour or we won't see the last half hour. So I start watching the show, and it literally starts with the SmackDown Open. And I'm like, oh, man, I guess I probably won't see the return of, old Huskus. But I skipped to the end, and there was Bray. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. So apparently what happened was YouTube TV inserted a 90-minute, probably the Hulu version, if they still have that, of the show. So I missed Mansoor having his match with, what's his
LA
face?
Knight.
LA Knight. I missed that. And apparently I missed a women's, was there a women's tag on the show? Yeah, Damage Control versus Raquel, Shotzi, and Roxanne. I didn't see that either. Just wasn't on it. Which I guess Bailey pinned Roxanne. Can you imagine? I'm glad I didn't see it. That would have made me angry. Yeah.
You know that's going to come down to a loser leaves town match or a winner leaves. It should be a winner leaves town match, but it's not. It's going to be whoever loses that match. Either Cora Jade or Roxanne will end up on the main roster. And again, why not just have the winner go up to them? Why do you have to lose your way into title shots and lose your way
because
onto
you're
the main
leaving the
roster?
territory. You leave the winner on NXT.
It's not 1974 anymore.
Yeah, I'd be -1. Back in a moment. Observer Live.
Crown Jewel Trivia Part 2. Question number 1. Who earned a WWE United States Championship match against AJ Styles at Crown Jewel 2019? A. Mansoor. B. Apollo Crews. C. Buddy Murphy. D. Umberto. The correct answer is Umberto Carrillo. Question number 2. What match main evented Crown Jewel 2019? A. Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. B. Tyson Fury versus Braun Strowman. C. The Undertaker versus Goldberg. D. Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. The correct answer is Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. Bray defeated Rollins in a Falls Count Anywhere match for the WWE Universal Championship, in which the match could not be stopped for any reason. Question number 3. Who was in the finals of the Queen's Crown Tournament at Crown Jewel 2021? A. Zelina versus Doudrop. B. Shayna Baszler versus Doudrop. C. Zelina versus Shayna Baszler. D. Natalya versus Zelina. The two women in the finals were Zelina Vega and Doudrop, in which Zelina ended up winning the Queen's Crown. Question number 4. Who did Becky Lynch defeat to retain her WWE SmackDown Women's Championship at Crown Jewel 2021? A. Sasha Banks. B. Bianca Belair. C. None of the above. D. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. It was a triple threat match between Becky, Bianca, and Sasha. Question number 5. Who did Xavier Woods defeat to become the King of the Ring at Crown Jewel 2021? A. Jinder Mahal. B. Cesaro. C. Finn Balor. D. Ricochet. The correct answer is Finn Balor. That's a wrap for this commercial break. Now back to Wrestling Observer Live.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Hey, man, for my Twitter super followers, I put a new video up today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, historical video.
Historical?
Yeah, I have the exact same mic that I used for Yada.
So you've been using me for years.
I told the history of that mic. I showed it to everybody.
Oh, yeah?
I showed everyone what it looked like inside, which was disgusting.
Ew.
Up right now for
What'd you do with it?
super followers.
Is it bronzed now?
No. Are you kidding me? You don't know anything about antiques. as soon as you do something to them, no one wants them anymore. You don't put a new grill on an antique mic. You don't bronze it. You keep all the spit and DNA and everything inside it. It crumbles apart. It's got dents and it's got scrapes and scratches. But I have the whole story up for my super followers at Bryan Alvarez. So,
did you follow through on the magic trick, by the way, that I hyped up for you on Friday?
Of course I did.
I hard sold the hell out of that thing.
Good. It was a good trick, if I do say so myself. There'll be more to come from my super followers. I think it'll be. I don't know how to brand it properly.
Still need to buy some Dayquil for the baby, so you need to hit the man off with a super follow right now. Throw something at him so he can take care of the kids.
I also had a sponsorship snack down this weekend for everybody. I went to Crumble, the donut shop.
Ooh.
Yeah, gave a review of those. I should be getting paid for all these, but you know what? No one pays me, so you can by super following me on Twitter. Anyway, we're out of time. Filthy Tom is going to be up in 1 hour. We'll be talking SmackDown, New Japan Strong.
He'll be ready to go,
What a
folks.
finish to the New Japan Strong main event this week. Oh, man. We'll
Show's
talk
been
about
good.
that and more. And we'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.